Hey, let's get this done. Dun, da, da, dun, da, da, dun, da, da, dun, da, 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 da. Hi, guys. Just amusing myself over here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. Hope you're having a wonderful day out there. I'm all right, having a decent one, I guess. Nothing to really complain about, except the cat. I've started letting her in my room, and now she tries to run in here every time I'm in here, and that can be detrimental to the show. She stopped chewing cords, so I've allowed her in here, but she still plays in the cords. She doesn't play with them, but she crawls through them. Yeah, I can't have that. Have my show just go out because the cat was like, "Ooh, Ethernet cord." So me and her were just having a little disagreement outside the room about whether or not she can come in right now. Um, but yeah, other than that, had a decent enough day. Except I've told you guys I've been, doing some exercise and getting my legs in shape, and now it's time to start working on the upper body. And oh my god, I'm. Whew, I tried doing push-ups, y'all. Uh, I got three. I got three, and then my body was like, man, you are too fat and weak for this." So, whew, monkey's got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. And it's gonna hurt. It's gonna suck, but it's got to be done because I plan to be here for a long ass time, and I'd like to be at least able to pick my body up off the floor if I ever fall down it. Good God Almighty! Oh, don't get crippled, guys. Don't get crippled. It sucks. What do we got going on in the world? Oh, first I saw this donation. I was actually gonna wait just a minute to say I did see it, Snub. It says, "Thank you, Snubber," who says Sam is not sad. Also, every everyone keep everyone keep Roth in your prayers. He's talking about Yoel Roth there. Everyone keep Yoel Roth in your prayers as he has had to flee his home over paranoia about the consequences of his actions. Yeah, Yoel Roth, apparently he's the head of, where was the head of Twitter's trust and safety during all of this shit that's been going on. And there's stories out there about how he had to leave because Elon sent hate mobs after him. All Elon did is show what the prick was doing. It's what he did. It is literally the consequences of his own fucking actions. But once again, we see the media coming out there where if a liberal is at all criticized, that is people sending hate at him. Like we're gonna get you, bitch. But that's never what it is if it's a story about, well, anybody else. Uh, how many stories have they written about what a horrible person Donald Trump and his children are? How many stories have been written about that? What they're telling us is that they were trying to incite hate mobs. You get that, right? That if you ever criticize somebody on their side, that means that you're sending hate mobs. That means what they're trying to do every time they criticize somebody on the other side of them. That's what they think happens when you criticize. So they're telling us they've been trying to send hate mobs at people, trying to get people killed. But don't talk about that. We don't talk about that because no, 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 no. It's just the right wing who does violence. Just the fucking assholes. What a bunch of goofy bitches. Anyhow, guys, it finally dropped. The Twitter Files number 5. Barry Weiss dropped it today, and we'll be reading through that in just a little bit. I don't know if there was anything else. I do want to talk about this one tweet I made. I'm only bringing it up because a lot of you do interact with me on Twitter with my cousins. Shit. You interact with my cousin on Twitter, and he may not have been responding to you over the last 2 days. This fucking idiot congressman from Illinois tweets out that, what did he say? This is in response to Elon yesterday saying that his pronouns were prosecute Fauci, and this idiot said, "My pronouns are he, him. I believe in science, and I believe Dr. Fauci's a hero." I'm barely paraphrasing. Your mic is kind of cutting in and out. Oh, that's not my mic. God bless. Hang on just a second. I forgot to switch internets. That is my Starlink cutting in and out. Oh, we might have a problem here. Let's hang on, guys. My producer needs fired. There we go. That should be better. All right, are we better now? So this congressman, just to repeat that in case people missed it, congressman wrote a tweet in response to Elon that said, "My pronouns are he, him. I believe the science, and Dr. Fauci is a national treasure," some stupid shit like that. And I just said that if he believed in the science, he wouldn't feel the need to tell us his pronouns. I didn't think that that would be a big deal. I thought it would be a throwaway line, and it has completely blown up my mentions, my notifications, because everybody is arguing in there. Lots of people like the tweet, lots of people hate the tweet. But if you have tried to get my attention over the last couple of days, over the last about 36 hours, I am not ignoring you, I promise. I really enjoy engagement with you guys. I just haven't seen it because every time I go to my notifications, they're just blown the fuck up. I don't want to mute it because I don't like doing that. It's probably going to take 3 or 4 days for this to calm down. So if you do try to get my attention, please feel free to just DM me. Don't worry about the notification side of it. That's not the way you should always try to get my attention. But right now, yeah, just hit the DMs if there's something you wanted me to see. Because I feel horrible because I know there's things in there that I've found several of them just trying to go through it. But there's hundreds of fucking notifications all the time. That's what I get for being a smartass. However, I will say this. I wasn't wrong. If you believe in the science, you look like a dude. You present as a dude. I'm going to call you he. And actually, it's not even trusting the science. It's just trusting English. But anyway, so yeah, there's lots of people mad about that. Check your slaps. Oh, I did see him. I just wanted to get that out of the way, and then we had the problem with the whole internet thing. I actually have 2 over there, if I remember correctly. I'm refreshing right now. Oh no, just the one. Cult of Krill, thank you so much for the read before reading out loud. If someone works to suppress the natural rights of Americans, they should live in fear. I hear what you're saying with that. Look, I don't think anything should be. I don't think this idiot Yoel Roth should live in fear. I think he should live in shame. Does that make sense? I don't want anything bad to happen to the guy. I want him to be shamed for being a fucking shitbag who was trying to silence people and work to fix an election. Keldrick, thank you. The real reason Monkey isn't responding is because he's too busy thinking about Roy balls. Oh, that guy was too funny. Okay. It's on Twitter. You have to check it out over there. This meathead tried jumping in there, and I started making fun of his steroid balls. Anyhow, and man, he came to the defense. No, they're actually quite large. Like, are you defending your balls to a stranger on the internet? Really? Oh my God. All right. Whatever works, I guess. Whatever makes you feel like a better person. But yeah, so let's see. It is time, I guess, for the Barry Weiss Twitter Files number 5. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 5th one. I don't know if more Twitter Files are coming. Elon hinted that we were going to get stuff about COVID, and there's a little bit of that in here, and I don't know if this is all we're getting or if they're going to be releasing more. I also haven't been paying a lot of attention to Elon today to know if he said. But we're on number 5, so let's just deal with number 5. Twitter Files Part 5, the removal of Donald Trump from Twitter. Dun, dun, dun. I need to be like P-Dog and have, the little things where I can push it and it actually plays that. Dun, dun, dun. But I feel like it's a little less personal that way. I think it's more personal when I do it myself. Dun, dun, dun. I may be tired and might need sleep. Just throwing that out there. On the morning of January 8th, President Donald Trump, with one remaining strike before being at risk of permanent suspension from Twitter, tweets twice. At 6:46 a.m., this is what he tweets. The 7 sorry, the 75 million great American patriots who voted for me, America First, and Make America Great Again, will have a giant. Maybe I should just let y'all read it yourself. The 75 million great American patriots who voted for me, America First, and Make America Great Again will have a giant voice long into the future. They will not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Um, that's a really horrible thing, right? How dare you? Barry, I want my brain cells back for the Rogan interview. Was she on Rogan or did she interview Rogan? I don't know if I've seen her talk very much. But anyway, there's the first one. Okay, some people are still saying the internet is cutting in and out. It should not be. I don't know why that's happening. Um, oh, yeah, I do. All right. It should be better now, hopefully. Hopefully it's better now. Anyway, fuck. I need a new sound producer. All of my producers are about to get fired. All right, the second tweet from Trump. This is at 7:44 a.m. It says, to all of those who have asked, I will not be going to the inauguration on January 20th. There you go. Those are the two tweets. We'll put them on the screen again. Here's the first one. 75 million great Americans who voted for me will have a giant voice long into the future. They will not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any way, shape, or form. And for those who asked, I'm not going to the inauguration. All right, so there you go. Horrible tweets, right? Those are inciting violent tweets. You see in there, he's like, there's in the penumbra of what he wrote there is get your AR-15s and go shoot up the Capitol or some stupid shit. There's nothing offensive about what he wrote there. Literally nothing. Unless you're a piece of shit liberal who works at Twitter. For years, Twitter has resisted calls for both. Whoops, hang on. We got a donation over there. Let's go get that real fast before we continue butchering what she wrote here with my inability to read. Travis Gardner, thank you. Jack off tonight? No, I didn't, but thank you for asking me. It's a weird thing to ask people. I mean, it's a little bit forward, I guess is the word I want. Yeah, so where are we? For years, Twitter's resisted calls, both internal and external, to ban Trump on grounds that blocking a world leader from the platform or removing their controversial tweets would hide important information that people should be able to see and debate. Sure. Oh, and to the actual answer of that, I don't know where Jax is. He's got the link, so if he can and wants to, he'll jump in. This is a quote from Twitter. This is from their blog here, World Leaders on Twitter, Principles and Approaches. Our mission is to provide a forum that enables people to be informed and to engage their leaders directly, the company wrote in 2019. Twitter's aim was to, quote, protect the public's right to hear from their leaders and to hold them accountable. Okay, fair enough. But after January 6th, as Matt Taibbi and Schellenberg, MD, have documented, pressure grew both inside and outside of Twitter to ban Trump. There were dissenters inside of China. This is the one that there's not a lot of smoking guns in this one. I mean, we get to see the JJ's hand and stuff tonight. But this is the one that really blew me away. So there's one guy who posts this. Maybe because I'm from China, I deeply understand how censorship can destroy the public conversation. That's a pretty powerful statement, right? This is somebody who's lived under a communist regime. So I feel like you should at least give his opinion a little credit. But this is how the people at Twitter responded. I understand this fear, but I also think it's important to understand that censorship by a government is very different than censorship of the government. What? The First Amendment in the US and similar legislation in other countries with a similar concept exists specifically to prevent the governments from silencing the people. Well, the government is made up of people. You know that, right? You know, and by silencing our leaders, no matter which leader it is, you are making it so we cannot respond to them. I, I mean, if you want to silence them, you're a private company, blah blah blah. But if you're going to sit here and try to argue the concept of the First Amendment, at least have the fucking fundamentals down, you dumb son of a bitch. Next up says, I respect that, but realistically, we impose far stricter rules on effectively everyone else on the platform. Again, these are government officials. This is what the Donald Trump case was when they sued him so he couldn't block people. And a federal judge said, yeah, that's bullshit. This is a town square. You have a right to hear your leaders. And finally, we started labeling, restricting his tweets when they became a threat to democracy. Donald Trump's tweets were a threat to democracy. Remember, they started labeling and restricting his tweets well before the election. It's a threat to democracy. Does that sound familiar, guys? Threat to democracy. Where do you think they picked up that language? And seemed like that was our red line. Yesterday, he clearly attempted to overthrow our democratic system of government and showed no signs of remorse. What? No. You know what came out today, guys? I'll finish reading what this idiot said. Today, I forget who wrote it. Fuck, where did I even see it? Tristan Shell, is that his name? Schnell? I forget. He tweeted it out that some magazine, I don't know. But they got a hold of the texts that were sent to Mark Meadows. All these Republican congressmen who had texted Mark Meadows, and they need to be prosecuted. Well, if you read the text, there's actually nothing really in there. There's people who are like, we need to fight this. We need to save the republic, that kind of stuff. But nobody in there is saying, we need to overthrow the government with a violent army. Nobody says anything close to that. But here's the interesting part. That just dropped. The only people who had access to that information was Mark Meadows, the people who sent him, but even then, it would only be their tweets, and the January 6th committee. The January 6th committee, which should be pretty much wrapped up, sent a newspaper or online publication, whatever it is, Mark Meadows' tweets back and forth with Republican congressmen to try to change the narrative about the Twitter files. Like, look at this. Look, the Republicans were tweeting him and they thought the election was fucked up. Really? That's not news. In fact, you've had hearings about it, you dumb sons of bitches. But how'd they say it? That we were able to obtain. We were able to obtain these texts. Really? How? Because the people that have them are the January 6th committee. Why are they releasing this shit? Anyway, private messages between people that are none of your fucking business and are not illegal? Sure, go ahead. Release them so that you can try to change the fucking press cycle, which, if they just waited, wouldn't be needed, being that Sam Bankman-Fried was just arrested. And we'll talk about that in a little bit later. And I apologize for my voice. I'm getting more and more froggy. My throat's fucked up. Sorry, guys. Anyway, back to Mr. Threat to democracy. If this is not a clear reason to suspend him, again, as an unhinged ruler attempting to subvert the most powerful democracy in the world, I'm not sure what would be. This is the response to a guy born in China who's going, guys, this is a really dangerous road to go down. I've seen what this can look like. And they're like, we got to save democracy. What the fuck? Shut up. Oh, these overly hyperbolic pieces of shit. It's like arguing with people on Twitter. these, oh my God, threat to democracy. What? Calm down, hero. Anyway, Barry goes on to say, but voices like that one appear to have been a distinct minority within the company. Across Slack channels, many Twitter employees were upset that Trump hadn't been banned earlier. It should be noted that by this time, and I don't think she brings it up in here, by this time, the news media was out there saying that they need to be kicking him off these platforms, and they were actually talking about like Facebook, Twitter. I don't remember what other ones he was really using, but they were out there openly saying this. And oddly enough, these shit liberals that work at Twitter here just repeated it ad nauseum. Yeah. After January 6th, Twitter employees organized to demand their employer ban Trump. There is a lot of employee advocacy happening, said one Twitter employee. I'm still struggling to understand the decision not to ban Trump altogether, given he is inciting people to violence that has led to people being killed. It's so hyperbolic. And I think we owe people an explanation externally. Well, by this time, we'd already heard from them many times about why they hadn't banned Trump before. And Trump didn't exactly incite violence. That you have to make a leap to do that. Keldrick, thank you. A democracy is so powerful it can be easily stolen, except when it can't be. The safest and most secure democracy that's also always under threat. Yeah, that's what they tell us. It's a very dangerous democracy. And there was an insurrection, which, by the way, was so powerful, they finished the vote that fucking night. Which congressperson is it that said, or no, it wasn't a congressperson. It was the chick who worked for Mark Meadows, who said she was helping. All of these people like, I helped clean this shit. No, shut up. Nothing happened. You had a riot, and riots happened, and it was a bunch of shitbags who did it. But it was just a riot because people were pissed off. And you know what else helped it? And YouTube, hear me out here. They felt unheard. You guys told us all 2020 that the rioting is the voice of the unheard. But when it comes to this, and it's why they call it an insurrection instead of pointing out that it was a riot. You know who actually got silenced in 2020? It wasn't black people. It wasn't Black Lives Matter. It wasn't people who supported that shitbag Floyd. It wasn't any of them. You know who it was? It was conservatives who had questions about the election. And they were told, you can't ask those. If you ask those questions, you're causing violence. Dun, dun, dun. Fuck off. Anyway. And look, whether you like it or not, here, I'm going to say this, YouTube. Perfect election. But there were still things to question about it. Doesn't mean the questions couldn't be answered. And that's the problem you guys always have when you silence people. If people have questions, answer them. Don't silence them. Don't be like, oh, we're afraid of that question. All that does is make it seem like you're hiding something. It seems like their questions have validity. Jesus. And then there's a screenshot of Trump. I don't know what that is. I didn't click it. I didn't try to find a screenshot. I think it would be internally anyway. But anyway, this guy says, this is the elephant in the room. Another responds, it feels like I'm being way too deep with the voice for these guys, but my throat hurts, so I can't go real high. It feels like Twitter policy. That's not right. I did that for me, all right? It feels like Twitter policy is engaged with someone acting in bad faith and we won't acknowledge it. Do we have any belief that Trump will stop tweeting incitement to violence? There was none. Go home peacefully. What a shitbag. If Alex Jones was shut down for get your battle rifles, he's far exceeded that standard. Actually, he hasn't. Trump didn't tweet anything like that. And Alex Jones is not a member of the administration. He wasn't a person in government. You understand what I'm saying? There's special rules for the people in government. And it's not because they're better than us. It's so that even if they say something really fucking stupid, we get to see it and react to it because these are our fucking leaders. You silly bastards. They really should have let me in that Slack. I would have had a lot of fun. Almost as much fun as me and my cousin have on Twitter. I was talking to my wife tonight, and I told her about the thread that blew up. And she said, I thought you were banned from Twitter. I said, it wasn't me. And she goes, your cousin? I'm like, yeah, it was my cousin. I got the whole family in on it. Because it's true. My cousin, same birth date. He's 5 years older than me. We both are named Frank, by the way. We're named after our grandparent, after our grandfather. So, it happens. I think a lot of employees must share these concerns. Is there any sort of channel or group where we can organize more action? Having a call to action inside of Twitter. There is a lot of employee advocacy happening both here and there's another group. I understand he was our president. Actually, at that time, he was your president still. And that may have been the reason why we were hesitant to do it. But I think come January 20th, there's absolutely no excuse why his account shouldn't be suspended for good. I have friends with 1K followers that I don't know what it says after there because it cuts off. Here's the deal. I don't think Donald Trump should have been kicked off at all, period. But if they were going to kick him off, they should have kicked him off January 20th at the time of Biden being sworn in. That's when they should have done it. But no, they kicked off the leader of the free world. Like, we got to hide what he's saying. There's Jack. What's up, Jack? How you doing tonight?
I just woke up. I'm doing okay. How are you?
Old man nap?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I took an old man nap around 10 a.m. and I just got out of bed.
Damn, dude. You feeling all right?
I don't know. I guess so. I was just like, I'm pretty tired. I'm going to lay down, and got up once or twice to piss or whatever. And I was like, I'm going back to bed. And I paid zero attention to the time until I woke up, and I was like, oh, Monkey sent me, like, wait, what time is it? Is it like noon? Missed that one by a little bit.
A little bit.
Sorry I'm late. Hi, everybody.
Well, I'm glad you got some sleep. You get worse sleep than I do, so I'm glad you had at least one day of it.
Sleep is for the weak.
We're just reading through We're just reading through the Twitter files.
New drop?
Oh, yeah, they dropped. Oh, yeah, you were asleep all day. You didn't see it. They dropped this morning.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you didn't fall asleep for like 13 hours because the world might have ended.
Yeah, that's always a bad thing when I fall asleep.
Yeah. So anything like super, super awesome?
Well, I just want to bring your attention to one thing because we're at number 10. We'll get back to it, guys, but I want to bring Jack up to speed a little bit. She's just talking about when he gets kicked off. And here's the two tweets that got him his final two tweets that day, Jack. This is when, according to them, he still has one strike left on his channel. His channel, his account, I guess. He said the 75 million great American patriots who voted for me, America first, and make America great again will have a giant voice long into the future. They will not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any way, shape, or form.
Well,
and then his second tweet that day was to all of those who have asked, I will not be going to the inauguration on January 20th. Those were his two tweets. Keep that in mind, guys. And I also want to bring your attention to this. This was an internal conversation on their Slack channels. This guy says, maybe it's because I'm from China. I deeply understand how censorship can destroy the public conversation. Which, of course, there were shitheads there in Twitter who were like, I hear what you're saying, but this is like totally different. I'm paraphrasing, but only barely. One of them said he was a threat to democracy.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
True story. But you're caught up now. You have some people arguing about, why he hasn't been kicked. And then we get to this. That last sentence, we have to do the right thing here and ban this account, which for some reason they spammed. I hope they got in trouble for that.
Right?
And somebody said, we don't have a good track record of acting on his account, except in the clearest and most explicit cases. And even then, well, just did you think he should have been kicked off for Covfefe or whatever it was?
Apparently.
In my opinion, extraordinary circumstances demand extraordinary leadership. It took 3 years, but I've lost faith.
Took 3 years to lose faith. Slow learner.
Actual votes, Donald Trump, Republican Party, 232, 46.9%, 74,223,744. I guess they're saying he's spreading misinformation by saying 75 million. I don't understand the point of that one. It's honestly, a lot of these are honestly like having a Twitter conversation where somebody will jump in with wholly unrelated shit. I don't understand it myself, but well, it is what it is. And down here it says, second this, it's pretty obvious he's going to try to thread the needle of incitement while not violating the rules. Yep.
First of all, thread the needle of incitement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really? Are we gonna write poetry now? Are we doing haikus?
Yes.
Come on. He's gonna do it without breaking the TOS. What do we do? Grow up. Hello? Hello? Are you there? Monkey? Monkey went quiet.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. I was trying to get it set up so I can watch the chat while I have Rumble open. And I hit the wrong button, so we're all better now. I'm firing all of my producers. I just want that known.
You can't fire yourself, and Phoebe will refuse to be fired.
I can look. You don't know how many people live in me. I got that DID stuff.
Sure.
You
do.
I have people in my head I haven't met yet. One of them has to be good at producing.
Well, yeah, but you just fired them.
No, I fired the other guy.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't worry, that guy was a dick.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as he's not fronting right now, I don't know. This fucking DID stuff is stupid. I can't even play along with that because it's so fucking dumb.
I do want to talk about this though. That part at the end there, he's going to try to thread the needle of incitement without breaking the rules. We've talked about this with YouTube because YouTube likes to do this shit where, like, we're not going to tell you what the rules are because then you'll not break them.
Yeah,
and that's basically what they're saying. If we let him stay here, he's not going to break the rules, you guys.
And then we can't punish him. Ugh, so dumb. Oh, real quick, thank you, Bus Drivers Union, who says, "Are you lonely? Don't want to die alone? Become a bus driver." That's true. That's true. You won't be alone if you are on a bus full of people when you crash it.
I guess so. Seems a drastic way, though. Wouldn't it be better to just get a friend?
Maybe, but it sounds like a lot less work than trying to get to know somebody.
Jennifer says he's breaking rules we haven't come up with yet. Yeah. And this is why most of the social media platforms that you deal with, they don't have rules. They have guidelines.
Yeah, nice nebulous guidelines.
Yep.
So when you upset them, they can make you go away.
In the early afternoon of January 8th, the Washington Post published an open letter signed by over 300 Twitter employees to CEO Jack Dorsey. How many of those 300 do you think are still working there?
That's a good question.
I bet at least 90% of them were fired or quit in the Great Purge.
Did Elon just fire a bunch of people for violating their non-disclosures?
Well, kind of. He fired them because he sent out a memo saying, guys, we expect you to abide by your non-disclosures. And if you don't, we will prosecute. Agree to these terms or get the fuck out. And yet another group of them were like, well, I'm not going to do that.
I'm
It's
not
like,
gonna keep my promises.
yeah,
Yeah.
not just your promises, your contract. Yeah, so it was something like 100 of them disappeared from their Slack channel, is what I saw.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
I don't understand these people. As much as they're getting paid, you can't just shut up about stupid crap.
Well, let's look at that real fast. Remember, we were told one, Twitter wouldn't even be working anymore. Two, that the moderation would go to shit. And instead, what we've seen is Twitter's working as good, if not better than ever. And not only is the regular moderation of things like hate speech, I'm using air quotes because I don't believe in it, but what they call hate speech, that's gone down. Even according to Yoel Roth, it's lower than it was pre Elon. And on top of that, they've gotten rid of a shit ton of child porn and pedophiles.
Wow, that's why these employees seem to be upset.
Somebody tell me what these 4,000 people who no longer work there were fucking doing when they did.
Apparently touching themselves to kids, as far as I can tell.
And with a nice latte and some wine.
Yeah.
Christ, man, I don't understand. I said this on Twitter and I mean it sincerely. If you had Twitter stock before Elon, bought everything out, I would be seriously considering a lawsuit against the former people who were running the company for how badly they were managing it.
Yeah. No wonder the thing wasn't that profitable.
You had over 4,000 unnecessary employees. Your job as the CEO is to run that company as best you can for the profit of the people who are invested in you. Anyway, but Twitter staff assigned to evaluate tweets quickly concluded that Trump had not violated Twitter policies. I think we'd have a hard time saying this is incitement, wrote one staffer. It's pretty clear he's saying the American patriots are the ones who voted for him and not the terrorists. We can call them that, right? From Wednesday. And here's the actual exchange. And at the bottom, it's concluded with don't see the incitement angle here. That seems pretty cut and dry. By the way, there was no incitement in those two tweets that we read. Or was there? Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun.
It's in the penumbra.
It's in the penumbra. And here's where things start to get a little more crazy. Thank you, Frosted Glass. Elon's purging pedos faster than Kyle Rittenhouse. Well, I think Kyle's purge was technically faster by if you timed it, but I see what you're getting at there. He's getting rid of a lot more. Barry goes on to quote that, let's just read this one. Also, what's that?
Hang on. Thank you, John's demo service. Homophobic? Hell no. These houses should be afraid of me.
Nice.
Demolition artist.
I am also not seeing clear coded incitement in the Donald J. Trump tweets. And then this Anika Navaroli says, I'll respond in the election channels and say that our team has assessed and found no vios in the Donald J. Trump one. And then somebody says, flagging that Yoel is looking for an assessment of the Donald J. Trump tweet in the HPDC crisis channel. They had a crisis channel, Jack. Had to make sure there was no crisis going on.
Why does Twitter have a crisis team?
In case somebody has a really, really bad tweet. Not child porn. They were okay with that, but
yeah.
In case Donald Trump said something.
I just don't understand this level of obsession with the man. Like, I thought he was funny and he did some pretty good stuff while in office that I liked, but I didn't think about Trump on a day-to-day unless we were doing the news. Like it didn't take up that much of my brain time.
Let's go all the way back to 2016. There were people who were seriously saying that they would tell their parents that they wouldn't get to see their grandchildren if they voted for Trump.
Yeah, I just don't understand him taking up that much time in someone's head, though. Like, you are
They
way too involved in this on a personal level for
no,
somebody
see,
you'll never meet.
you're missing something we talk about a lot. This is a fucking cult. He
I know
is their
that
Satan.
that's the only explanation for it, but I'm still a little unclear on how he became Satan. Like they just some at one point agreed this man is a threat to democracy. But when was this
It's
vote? Is it just because he opposed Hillary?
it has a lot. It's all timing, honestly, because it would have been anybody who opposed and beat Hillary. It really would have been, guys. It's not just Trump. It's partially that Trump also betrayed them because he used to basically be a liberal, and he still kind of governed that way.
Yeah, he was very like centrist.
Yeah, he wasn't a hardcore Republican,
Yeah, that's what gets me about the whole thing.
but you have all of the identity politics that's popped up. You have the feminist and the Gamergate. All of that shit has come to a head. You have Donald Trump come up there who stood against the woman who would be king.
Ugh, but it was her time.
It was her time. And so all of this comes together, and you have this group of people who have been indoctrinated into this identity cult. And he stood against them. He took out their leader. She was going to lead them to the promised land. And Satan got in the way. Look, I'm with you. I don't understand how you get there, but I know what happened.
Yeah, it's
It's
just the mental gymnastics to paint this centrist Republican as the devil. Like there were so many more hardcore right wing people that probably would have been more appropriately branded that way. It boggles my mind their obsession with this man.
I'm going to correct you just a little bit because it's not mental gymnastics. It's a mental illness.
Yeah, it really is.
The whole Trump derangement syndrome, I realize it's not actually in a psychology book, but it's real.
Yeah, it
It's
really
absolutely
should be.
real. All right. This person says, sorry, I stepped out for a while. Let me know, Yoel, if any action will be taken. And somebody else says, as an FYI, safety has assessed the DJT, that's Donald J. Trump, tweet above and determined there's no violation.
Oh, well, they're wrong. They shall be fired, obviously.
Later, Navaroli would testify at the House January 6th committee, quote, for months I've been begging and anticipating and attempting to raise the reality that if we made no intervention into what I saw occurring, people were going to die. All right. I don't suppose you're talking about Black Lives Matter things, right? Next, Twitter safety team decides that Trump's 744 tweet is also not a violation. That's the one where he said he's not going to the inauguration. They're unequivocal. It's clear there's no violation. It's just to say he's not attending the inauguration. There you go. And somebody puts in here, people might be saying that this is proof that he does not support a peaceful transition. Trump saying he was not going to the inauguration, that was an incitement of violence. Because let's be honest, at this point, anything. Trump could have come out and said, people who commit violence are assholes. I hate them and I want nothing to do with them. And then be like, did you read between the lines? If you read just right, it says, I support violence.
It's sad that that's true. They just want to believe that he is this cult leader, demigod that can purge everyone around him by just mere insinuation. And well, no one rid me of this meddlesome priest.
I do want to say that there are some people on the Trump train who go a little too far, who are getting almost cultish themselves. The man can do no wrong. Yeah, he can. He's a human.
Yeah.
But it's nothing compared to what the left is with this shit. They are so fucking insane. I mean, they literally evil.
Oh, it's It's really
We-
impressive.
We need to exercise this demon.
Yeah, I got a buddy that's a pretty big lefty, and he was like, "Drumpf, am I right?" And I was like, "I don't know
Mhm.
what that means." This was the first time I'd ever heard Drumpf. He's like, "Well, that was like his family name before they came over and changed it." It's like lots of people did that. What's your point? Oh, you just don't get it, man. He's
It
such a
sounds
Republican.
silly.
Yeah, but he meant it as like Satan did it, right? I was like, oh. He's still, by the way, very Trump derangement syndrome. But thank you, Jim Jones. Can't confirm was a cult. Surprised he didn't put cyanide in the box wine when Elon came in.
Right?
I think he probably suspected as much. I would.
To understand Twitter's decision to ban Trump, we must consider how Twitter deals with other heads of state and political leaders, including Iran, Nigeria, and Ethiopia. On June 18th, Iran's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei tweeted, Israel is a malignant, cancerous tumor in the West Asian region and has to be removed and eradicated. It is possible and it will happen.
Jesus Christ.
Twitter neither deleted the tweet nor banned the Ayatollah. That tweet is still up, or at least it was a little while ago.
Well, that I mean, is anyone surprised?
Kanye was kicked off for less.
Yeah, less anti-Semitism on top of that.
Literally, we're going to destroy the Jews in Israel. Come on.
Wow.
Well, maybe he was talking about the Palestinians who live in Israel.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I can't be sure Iran wants to get rid of the Jews. Wink, wink.
Yeah. I think if he had been talking about the Palestinians, they definitely would have taken him off.
In October 2020, the former Malaysian prime minister said it was a right for Muslims to kill millions of French people. Twitter deleted his tweet for glorifying violence, but he remains on the platform. The tweet below was taken from the Wayback Machine. It says, millions have a right to be angry and to kill millions of French people for the massacres of the past.
Wow.
Not kicked off the platform. Muhammadu Buhari, the president of Nigeria, incited violence against pro-Biafra, I think as I said, pro-Biafra groups. Those of us in the field for 30 months who went through the war, he wrote, we'll treat them in the language they understand. They deleted the tweet, but didn't ban him. These are clear calls for violence. Clear calls. Anyway, in October 2021, Twitter allowed Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to call on citizens to take up arms against the Tigray region. Twitter allowed the tweet to remain up and did not ban the prime minister. Now, it's in their language, so I can't read it. They did throw a "this violates the rules," but public interest, we're going to keep it up. Biafra, thank you. So here we have several leaders doing really horrible shit, calling for violence, and the worst Twitter did was take down the tweets. Donald Trump ended up banned over the two tweets we read earlier, neither of which have anything to do with inciting violence at all. But let's move ahead, shall we?
Sure.
In early February 2021, Prime Minister, Jesus Christ, Narendra. Prime Minister Modi's government threatened to arrest Twitter employees in India and to incarcerate them for up to 7 years after they restored hundreds of accounts that have been critical of him. Twitter did not ban Modi. But Twitter executives did ban Donald Trump, even though key staffers said that Trump had not incited violence, not even in a coded way. So what happened, Jack? Well, haha. Less than 90 minutes after the Twitter employees had determined that Trump's tweets were not in violation of Twitter policy, the JJ herself asked whether it could, in fact, be coded incitement to further violence. Now, it had already been established that it wasn't. And she's like, but wait a minute, maybe. She says, thanks. The biggest question is whether a tweet like the one this morning from Trump, which isn't a rule violation on its face, is being used as coded incitement to further violence. If you have any context or insight, we should consider. I'm all ears. Example, use the term of American patriots and they will not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any way, shape, or form. Somebody else responds, this is an interesting question. I'm going to speak with my team at ASAP to see if they can run a quick survey to get reactions to the language contained in the tweet and get back to you. So it's been determined it's not coded. The JJ speaks up and she's like, hey, is there a way we can make it sound coded? And this guy's like, let me take a quick survey of the people who hate Donald Trump and contributed greatly to his opponent and see what they think.
Jesus.
And the JJ says, I'm not sure I would rely on a survey. I worry about how that would be perceived externally. Wonder if we have anything in past research that could be relevant. A few minutes later, Twitter employees on the scaled enforcement team suggest that Trump's tweet may have violated Twitter's glorification of violence policy. If you interpret the phrase American patriots to refer to rioters. Yep.
Wow.
Team Scale is asking if we would consider Trump's tweet for Gov if we consider American patriots to refer to the rioters. They have a point. No, they didn't. The guy says, from my point of view. Team, my laptop is frozen. We'll rejoin ASAP. Maybe one of those engineers should work on their laptops for him.
Yeah.
They weren't doing anything else. Scale has said they understand our position, but will continue to push their GOV assessment with leadership. They see it as in he is the leader of a violent extremist group who is glorifying the group and its recent actions. Do you think we should square off with GOV and the DJT assessment, or would it be helpful at this point? They're actually arguing over whether they should argue with each other.
Did they already fire that one guy that was like, maybe this is a bad idea?
Probably him and the guy from China. I think it could be helpful to maybe have a write-up of the violation assessment could look like, just in case Scale tips the balance and that becomes the decision. You see these people actively. One of them was that Anika Navarroli, whatever. Things escalated from here. Members of that team came to view him as the leader of a terrorist group responsible for violent/deaths comparable to the Christchurch shooter or Hitler. That is a quote.
Boy, their obsession with World War II is astonishing sometimes.
At least it wasn't Harry Potter. At least they didn't call him Voldemort.
Oh, we're not done yet. So maybe.
Just to update you, I spoke to somebody just now. They understand our assessment of this individual tweet, but they now view him as the leader of a terrorist group responsible for violence/deaths comparable to Christchurch shooter or Hitler. And on that basis and the totality of his tweets, he should be deplatformed. They will continue to push that argument with leadership, and we will see where it falls. They were literally calling him Hitler.
So lazy. Oh, man. Not even like Pol Pot or the Khmer Rouge or Mao Zedong. No.
You remember when Hitler didn't go to the inauguration of his predecessor?
No, I don't know enough about the chancellery in 1930s Germany to care. Also,
well, I can help you out on that. He'd been burned up in a ditch, so he couldn't make it.
Yeah, fuck's sake.
That's just another way. That's just another way that Trump is like Hitler. See, Hitler didn't go to the inauguration of his predecessor either. See, Trump is Hitler. That's science, Jack.
Yeah, failed painter, used to be a messenger on World War One. The
Mhm.
commonalities are astonishing.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Real quick, thank you, Keldrig. It's sad and scary how desperate they are for a real Hitler. It is. It really is. They see these boogeymen behind every corner, every shadow, and they can't get away from that. They really think that this is violence,
Yes, they
and
really do.
they've clearly never experienced real violence or even seen it because Hitler was a pretty nasty fella.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
I don't.
sorry. Yeah, I was saying predecessor, his successor. My bad.
Yeah, no, I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Uh, Figured it out after you said burned up, and I was like, oh. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
think with his predecessor, wasn't he in jail at the time?
probably.
Yeah. My bad, y'all. My brain just got it happens. But thank you, Black
Yeah,
Romeo, for correcting me there, because
yeah.
that is important to the joke. Damn it.
Don't overthink the jokes.
No, if you catch me with something like that, please correct me. All right. 2 hours later, Twitter executives host a 30-minute all-staff meeting. Jack Dorsey and Vijay answer staff questions as to why Trump wasn't banned, but they make some employees angrier.
No,
Um,
I think JB has nailed this. This Hitler you keep talking about, is he in the room with us now?
he might be. Jack Dorsey, you're kind of a pussy, and let me tell you what mistake you made right here. You should have told all those people to get fucked. We're following the rules. That's what we're doing. That's what you should have said. You should have said, you guys are over analyzing this. You're trying to push this crap. Go fuck yourselves. Get back to work, you spoiled shitbags. And you should have taken away wine for the day for the way they were acting. There was enough wine in the building that it didn't need added to. Just throwing that out there. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I wonder how much of these conversations were done while blitzed. Because if they're a bunch of, they have wine on tap. If they're
Yeah.
drinking nearly as much as I would suspect, I imagine some of this is just accelerated by alcohol.
Who the hell needs wine on tap at work unless you're at a bar? Even bars don't put wine on tap.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think there was a lot of drinking going on here,
Christ.
and it made these decisions much more justifiable. But yeah, this is such nonsense.
Oh,
Like,
wait. It gets better. It really does. Yoel's about to speak up.
oh, for fuck's sake, what's Smooth Brain got to say?
We haven't heard from Yoel yet tonight, y'all. So somebody says, I'm not sure who should hear this, but if you look at the conversation in whatever group, plenty of employees are not responding well to the 30-minute brief. I feel people want to feel heard and having someone with the right purview to reason with. And yet, I'm sure Jack/Vijay are totally saturated. I wonder if we can mobilize people who are on the peripheral of decision making, but not all consumed to engage with internal discussions. And who pops up? Yoel Roth. Yoel, I think teenagers should be on Grinder Roth. Yoel, is it ever right for students to sleep with their teachers? Roth. He's got a long name now. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on it. Candidly, not a lot of people who are close to the decisions would feel safe engaging there. Multiple tweeps have quoted, that's what they call themselves, tweeps. Multiple tweeps have quoted the banality of evil, suggesting that people implementing our policies are like Nazis following orders. That's what they were saying. That's what they were saying internally. Following their rules that they've made is like Nazis killing Jews.
I don't think they understand why rules exist.
He says, which as someone responsible for our policies who had direct family members in Auschwitz is not exactly an environment I want to wade into. This is in your internal work discussion forums. You absolutely should have waded into there. You are a leader of the company. At the very least, you should have been contacting people's superiors, telling them to knock this shit off.
Yeah, but they can't. They can't stop themselves. They need their voices heard, or it's silencing monkey. if you don't get a bitch and moan at the workplace about every little thing that bothers you, then you are being silenced. That's abuse or some shit.
You had family members killed at Auschwitz, or at least at Auschwitz, and you're too afraid to go tell these people, hey, us following our fucking rules has nothing to do with killing 6 million Jews, you fucking retards.
Talk about minimizing the deaths of all those people in the
No,
camps.
no shit. Anyway, he goes, people are angry and want to express themselves, but the way the conversation happens can close off meaningful engagement. This is a workplace. Jesus fucking Christ.
No, this is a daycare facility for overage toddler brains.
There should have
Also,
been a message that popped up and said the next person who compares this to the banality of evil is getting fired. Knock it off, calm down, and go back to work.
yeah, banality of evil. Shut up. You work at a corporation. All corporations are evil.
How
I
did they
mean,
have so much time for all this bitching?
because they're sitting around being drunk and attending meetings. They apparently didn't do anything.
Anyway, yeah, I
Hang
saw
on.
that the Slack channels just aren't being used that much. I'm like, good, they should be fucking working.
Real quick. Thank you, Hillary Clinton. I think Sam Bankman-Fried has a case of clinical depression. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Wink, wink. Thank you, Hillary.
By the way, guys, we are brought to you by you. Make sure you're hitting that like button, the rumble button, the fist button, and if you can, donate to Jack or myself. The link's at the top. Don't forget, there's still like the stuff you can buy from the stores. All of that stuff is in the bottom. Check that shit out when you get a chance. We don't mention it much, but it is still all there. Dorsey requests simpler language to explain Trump's suspension. Roth wrote, God help us. This makes me think he wants to share it publicly. And she just puts up this thing. If we get close to suspension and an analysis of 8chan and Parler as part of the discussion, any links to that content would be helpful for us with Trusted. If possible, I'd like those services to pay a price here. Did you catch that? They want to take out 8chan and Parler over this. They want to punish them for this, which they're not even fucking involved in.
No, but nobody went after Facebook's involvement.
For God's sakes. And Yoel's like, yep, noted. Dell is rewriting the doc per request from Jack to make it simple, which, God help us, makes me think he wants to share it publicly. Did you think that you could just ban Trump and that you wouldn't have to make some kind of statement? This is the leader of the free world. You guys are banning him off the platform where you already have rules specifically for world leaders to let them get away with things like calling for the death of Jews. But here, Donald Trump saying that basically they built a movement that's going to last, and he's not going to the inauguration. This is we got to get rid of him. And you didn't think you'd have to
Hitler,
talk.
Monkey.
What's that?
You don't need to make an excuse to ban Hitler.
I guess you're right. 1 hour later, Twitter announces Trump's permanent suspension due to the risk of further incitement of violence. And there's just a whole bunch of people. Yay! Fuck off. And congratulatory big props to whoever in trust and safety is sitting there whack-a-moling these Trump accounts. I'll put it on the screen. I'm not going to read this one. It's just people. Good job. You're getting rid of the people who like Donald Trump. By the next day, employees expressed eagerness to tackle medical misinformation as soon as possible. And this is what I was talking about earlier, guys. I don't know if this is the end. Elon had suggested that maybe some COVID stuff would come out. This might be it. I don't know. And this is somebody, what blank said, yes, we absolutely plan to do this in 2021 with the timeline being as soon as possible. COVID is one specific disease. Medical misinformation is a much broader category of harmful content. We laid a lot of the groundwork for policy and product behavior through our work on COVID and the elections, the misinfo policy team in whatever that is, along with the folks in health experience, TWS research, and other teams across the company are now focused on getting to a place of improving maturity in how our policies are actualized across reporting, operations, global scale, scope, etc. We'll have more to share on this soon. And it was edited. I don't know why. So they're already talking about the COVID thing. I want to see what was going on with the COVID stuff during the 2020 election. Very excited to see us handling more categories of misinformation. For the longest time, Twitter's stance was that if we weren't, or that we aren't the arbiter of truth, which I respected but never gave me a warm, fuzzy feeling. That damned free speech doesn't give me a warm, fuzzy feeling.
I mean, I like free speech, but does it put me in control of what others think?
That said, my dad is an MD, to give context, and medical misinformation is a really hard topic. Even for COVID-19, we only covered a narrow category of information. As an example, is take vitamin C, vitamin D, elderberry, and xylitol, I don't know how to say that, with GSE daily to reduce COVID risk. Good information, creative marketing, or misinformation? Personally, I'm not sure, and I suspect there are views on both sides. By the way, new information is coming out that maybe vitamin D actually does work, or vitamin C, one of the two, I forget. I have no idea. I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying, like so many things with COVID, maybe they were wrong.
They can't be wrong.
It's amazing how this is a slight aside from what we're talking about here, but because of the whole COVID thing, a lot of stuff is finally coming out. And when you point out that these people have gotten it wrong over and over again, this is what you'll hear. They weren't wrong. The science changed. All right. The people who thought the earth was flat were wrong. It didn't suddenly become round when people realized it was a fucking globe and not a flat surface. It was always a globe. The science was fucking wrong.
Spoken like a globist.
I know, right? But Twitter's COO, this is before he took over, Parag Agrawal, who would later succeed Dorsey as CEO, told head of security Mudge. Your parents named you Mudge? Wow, they must have hated you. Mudge Zatko, I think a few of us should brainstorm the ripple effect of the Trump ban. Agrawal added, centralized content moderation, in my opinion, has reached a breaking point now. Kind of interesting. I'll put these ones on the screen too. He says, I think a few of us should brainstorm the ripple effects and how we might adapt. Who are you suggesting? Asked Mudge. Not sure. A few of us on staff, maybe to start. The future of public conversation feels uncertain to me. To my mind, we need to move fast towards opening up control over policies and enforcement and decentralizing it. You know, just let a whole bunch of other people start making decisions willy-nilly. And then we have, well, goddamn mouse. There we go. Interested to hear what people think now that it's playing out the way it has. And Paraga says, I think more important question now is the future of public conversation. In my mind, this is the end of the road for centralized content moderation. Hard to believe that this approach will be sustainable moving forward. Suggested to Mudge that a few of us get together to anticipate ripple effects and decide on how we want to mobilize. What he's talking about here is that instead of having, okay, we have the rules team, they look at this, they decide it. We're gonna put together a new team that, even though something might not break the rules, we'll step in because you guys, I mean, there's a little too much free speech, a little too much. And you got these people who aren't breaking the rules, but we still think they're dirtbags. So we got to get rid of them. And that's what we were seeing. Anyway, outside the United States, Twitter's decision to ban Trump raised alarms, including with French President Emmanuel Macron, German Prime Minister New Hitler, and Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, who, by the way, is going to be out of office soon.
Oh,
Yeah, his term runs up in 2024. Apparently, he spent a whole bunch of money on projects that are unfinished. So they're starting to worry about what's going to happen to all these projects when the new guy comes in, whoever that may be. I hope it's a woman, so that they can elect their first black lesbian one-legged woman to be president.
yeah. Well, something to do.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they got a couple down there.
Probably.
Yeah. Macron told an audience he didn't want to live in a democracy where the key decisions were made by private players. He said, I want it to be decided by a law voted on by representatives or by regulators, governance, democratically discussed and approved by democratic leaders. I don't want any of that shit. I want free speech.
Oh, no, you can't have free speech without somebody to regulate it, or people might say things that hurt others, monkey. Mean words. Those are super hurtful. They're the
When
paper cuts on the soul.
right, with lemon in it.
Yeah, and then salt thrown on, because that's what it's like when somebody says something mean.
When even the European Union is looking at how you're handling free speech and going, that's fucked up. You fucked up. They're not exactly open over there, Jack.
What,
Merkel's
really?
Merkel, that former chancellor there, the last Hitler in Germany, her spokesperson called Twitter's decision to ban Trump from its platform problematic and added that freedom of opinion is of elementary significance. Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny criticized the ban as an unacceptable act of censorship. Even the fucking Russians were going, damn.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, actually.
Whether you agree with Navalny, whatever, Macron, or the executives at Twitter, we hope this latest installment of the Twitter Files gave you insight into an unprecedented decision. From the outset, our goal in investigating the story was to discover and document the steps leading up to the banning of Trump and to put that choice into context. Ultimately, the concerns about Twitter's efforts to censor news about Hunter Biden's laptop, blacklist disfavored views, and ban a president aren't about the past choices of executives and social media company. They're about the power of a handful of people at private companies to influence the public discourse and democracy. And then she links to where these guys can all be found. She started this thing called the Free Press. I'll throw this into chat for anybody who may want to go over there. But here's the thing about what she said there at the end, Jack. I do want to comment on it. Whoops, I already gave it to you guys. Dude, I put it on Rumble first. Let me throw this into the chat here too. There we go. She said it's about the power of a handful of people to control the narrative, basically, is what she's saying there.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been how it happens. Except for it used to be ABC, CBS, the New York Times, that kind of stuff, which they still have a big hand in that crap. I'm glad this got exposed. I'm glad Twitter is not what it used to be and people can speak more freely. But I want to see the YouTube files. I want to see the Meta files. I want to see Google files. You know what I mean? I want to see all of these shitbags. And it can be done. The Republicans just took over Congress. They will be being sworn in. Sorry, they took over the House, one chamber of Congress. They'll be sworn in here soon, taking their first steps. You guys could subpoena all of this shit from these companies. You absolutely could. You have that power. And you can expose it to the world to see what's been going on. I don't think you'll do it because I think you're a bunch of, spineless pussies. But you absolutely could. You could expose this shit to the world so that we can see just how influenced people were. And you could do it to all of them. All of them. We need to see how you were manipulating the election. Because they're not, Jack, they're not just reporting free. It's not like they're just deciding what story to cover. They were actually hiding things and getting rid of people who would help the other side for no reason. Didn't violate any of their policies. They had to come up with special reasons to get rid of them. And the worst part, and this is where Congress really has the power here, they were working with federal agencies to do this. So fuck them all. Congress should have these assholes up there and they should be subpoenaing all mentions of this stuff. And by the way, if you're out there deleting this and you work at YouTube or any of that, that'd be a felony. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Anyway, Jack.
Thank you, Uncle Adolf, who says, "How dare you compare her to Monk? She made no happy chambers and no bagel burning power plants." That's pretty true, Adolf. Thank you for the donation.
All right. Anything else you want to say on the Twitter files, Jack? What did you think overall of them?
I think it's obvious that they live in an echo chamber and they will find a way to justify anything they wanted to do. And they always thought they were morally correct. And that's usually how horrible things happen.
How close do you think this is to what was happening at every other social media company?
Oh, this I think is exactly what happens all over Silicon Valley, and all over the tech sites.
Yeah.
We see it time and time again. The "we don't answer to you" stuff. It's horrifying, but a little too predictable.
It would be bad if this was all on their own. I think it's way been underplayed how much effect federal agencies had in this.
Yeah, I agree. And it's sad that most media companies aren't even covering this at all, probably
No.
because they're all doing the same thing. But the fact that the government had a hand in it, this should be a massive story.
It really should. The government was working to silence people on social media platforms. And they try to Data, what's his real name? Zuckerberg. He's like, well, look, they just kind of gave us some direction.
Uh-huh.
They told us that there was some bad things to keep an eye out for. It comes down to the government was used to silence people. But just like the IRS scandal, Jack, it's not a scandal if the press doesn't cover it because that's what makes it scandalous. Anyhow, Jack, I don't know if you saw, Sam Bankman-Fried has been arrested and he's being extradited back to the United States.
Wow. That's actually surprising. Is Bermuda going to give up all the money that they took?
Probably not.
Yeah, because they took billions of dollars.
Southern District of New York has issued a warrant for his arrest. We don't know why the indictment is the arrest warrant is sealed. So who is this? Sam Bankman-Fried. He is the owner of FTX, Alameda Research. I mean, he didn't control it. His ugly girlfriend, who looks like she's 12, did. But he's the one that ripped off a whole shit ton of people for billions of dollars. Yeah. And he accidentally admitted it the other day, Jack.
Oh, shocker.
Do you know who CoffeeZilla is?
I know that name. Is that a YouTuber?
He's a YouTuber, yep. He's
Okay,
a YouTuber. Yeah, he's a YouTuber who specializes in finding fraud. And he's gotten onto a couple of the Twitter spaces with Sam Bankman-Fried. And he's got to interview him 3 times. The first 2, he kind of wiggled out of the questions. And in the third one, yeah, he basically admitted fraud. So here's the thing. Here's his excuse for where all this money went. He told people, this is in their terms of service, you move your coins over to our exchange and we won't touch it. And then he said, wait a minute, there's other parts of the TOS. And it's for things like speculation, high risk kind of things, where you had to agree to go into these things where your Bitcoin would be used to fund some of this stuff. Apparently that exists, right? However, those people who didn't do that, who didn't agree to that, who's just moved their money over there, their money should have still been there. And Fried basically admits that the money was all mixed together, which is absolutely fraud. He lied to the people who didn't do that. And he admits this on a stream. CoffeeZilla, check him out. The stream is from like 5 or 6 days ago.
What an idiot.
Yeah. He actually gets angry. He gets angry at CoffeeZilla and like, look, I'm going to answer your question, but you have been taking up too much time. You are, you're what was the word he said? Monopolizing the time. Like, fuck off.
You're making me uncomfortable by admitting that I'm a scumbag.
Yeah, it's a really good interview. Check it out. And CoffeeZilla's face, because he recorded himself on the call. He has a camera on him as he's talking into his phone on this Twitter Spaces. And when he ends the call, just the smile on his face is priceless.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, he's done really good work with the scam stuff, like going back to the CS:GO kind of things. He's done a lot where he's finding fraud online and exposing it. I really do recommend the guy. Check it out. I enjoy his channel. But yeah, so Bankman is on his way back here to face trial. I forget who it was where that put this out there. But they said they're going to try to get the arrest warrant unsealed tomorrow morning. So hopefully we'll know the exact charges tomorrow morning. As of right now, all we know is the little fucker's coming back to the States.
Good.
And good luck to you, you little bitch. Because even the mainstream news is finally starting to get in on this. Look, the New York Times has been sucking his dick for the last month.
Yeah.
They've been sucking. Oh, look, man, it was just kind of an accident. I mean, seriously, they're writing flowery bullshit articles about him. But other people are starting to notice. And blood in the water? Ooh, dude, you're he was arrested to avoid testimony to the Republican-led House. This makes it more likely that he'll have to give testimony because he'll be in the United States and can be arrested for not giving it. Remember, the DOJ has just set the standard that they absolutely will go after you if you refuse to testify to Congress.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be unprecedented if they sent a SWAT team to his house.
Yep.
And they can make him stay in the States too. So
yep, they'll take his passports.
Yeah.
If he's under indictment, yeah, he'll be stuck in the United States for a little while.
Yeah, and if the Bahamas doesn't give that money back, I would send a small fleet and barricade their island until they give the money back.
Do we give them any money each year? I don't know if we do or not.
We send tourists there.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I mean, we provide aid to countries all over the world.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we gave them some. Would just be like, all right, we're not giving you money, bitch.
We're not giving you any money, and we're gonna not let any boats go in or out. How's that? We'll be waiting on that wire transfer 48 hours. Evolved
Potato says, I wonder how long until he Epstein's himself. And lots of people have said this in chat, something similar to that. In fact, the show started off with a donation from Snubbert saying that Sam's not sad. Look, Sam Bankman-Fried is a dirty piece of shit. And if he's facing serious prison time, there is a good chance he will roll on all the people he's been helping to break the law.
Quite likely. He looks like a pussy. He's not going to do well in jail.
Oh, no. No. That belly will be rolling really fast from the pounding from the back end.
Yeah, and they'll all be Tom Brady supporters.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with all of this.
Real fast. Thank you, John. I'm starting a new dating service in Prague. It's called Checkmate.
Too many people involved. He's a good patsy. Good point, though. I mean, he's not really a patsy. He's a fraudster. He's a con man. He's a piece of shit. He deserves to go to prison. But he has names. He has information, Jack. And there's a certain president of the United States right now who, if I was him, I'd be sweating a little bit.
Yeah, especially with the Ukrainian thing.
Yep.
No, if he gets Epstein in jail, the fucking Biden's had something to do with it.
Yeah, if he gets I would not be surprised if his plane doesn't make it here, honestly. Oops, it went down.
It landed on this strange pile of file folders labeled Epstein Island.
Yeah, so look, if you're a pilot out there and they're like, Epstein's going to be on your plane to come back to the States, you be like, oh, damn, I just got COVID. I need to go lay down.
Yeah.
Don't do the COVID thing. Or don't do the flying thing if Fried's on your plane. Eagle says, I forgot about the Ukrainian thing. Oh, yeah. For those of you who don't know, FTX was taking Bitcoins and Ethereum or ETH, whatever they were called.
Ethereum.
That one. All of these different Bitcoins and turning it into money to give to the Ukrainians.
Which then was donated, which was the Ukrainians invested a bunch of money, and then it ended up at the DNC somehow through donations from FTC.
Yeah, what happens is this money goes into Ukraine. Ukraine then takes that money, puts it into FTX, and then FTX takes that money and donates it to all these different political parties. So basically, they were money laundering. By the very definition of the term.
Yeah.
So, look, if they pay attention to what Fried actually did, Fried is looking at a shit ton of time in prison, and he's what, 30?
Yeah, he's young enough that he'll have to serve most of it.
Yep. So, I mean, he's got this. He's got a lot of incentive to roll on people.
Yeah. Which is, bad for the Biden administration.
And if the Southern District of New York doesn't push for that kind of stuff, and they're just like, no, we're just giving it to you, he's got a name where he can go out there and be like, I want to give press interviews. Here's what really happened, which would cause all kinds of havoc.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Real fast. Thank you, John. A Vicks Vapor Rub truck overturned on the highway this morning. Amazingly, there was no congestion for 8 hours.
Nice. All right. I'm trying to think of what else happened today. Here's a fun little story. Apparently, tramp stamps are back, Jack.
Yay.
Women, please don't do this to yourself. But don't worry, Jack. They're not trashy because influencers say so. Yeah.
Sure.
They're no longer trashy because people on TikTok say they're not trashy. Tramp stamps are in again and no longer trashy, according to influencers. If you thought the resurgence of Y2K fashion was going to be limited to thinner eyebrows and longer jeans, then think again. Some trends may be a little more permanent. While a lower back tattoo, or a tramp stamp as they are colloquially named, has been synonymous with a somewhat trashier lifestyle of the knots, Gen Z loved the early 90s and is making a comeback. You guys couldn't pick something better? You couldn't pick something better than a place where a dude's supposed to blow his load on you?
Yeah, it's a Target. Thank you, ladies.
That's all it is. You're like, no, it shows off how spunky. No, that is the spunk that's going there is from the dude behind you that you probably didn't even see. As you just bent over in a bar going, yeah, go ahead, put it in. A 2011 study found that the body artwork referred to as a tramp stamp became unfairly associated with promiscuity.
Yeah,
It's a
unfairly.
target for cum. It's a cum target. Why would you unfairly? Shut up. And by the way, don't forget, a lot of the people who wore these purposefully wore panties that could be seen above their jeans. And look, I like the look on these trashy women, Jack, but if I saw my daughter dressed that way, even as an adult, I'd be like, nah, go change, young lady.
Yeah. Well, there's no modesty anywhere.
In the last 2 or 3 years, I've got a lot of people looking to get him. I've always loved them, regardless of the stereotype behind them. So I was always open to doing them. I think it's so cute. Carissa Fituzzi, a Toronto-based tattoo artist, told Yahoo. I lean more towards that since I grew up seeing my mom dressed a certain way, so I love everything Y2K, she said.
Your mom's a whore, so that
Mom
makes
had
sense.
a tramp stamp. Does she know who your dad is?
Right? Well, she's a tattoo artist, and let's be honest, chicks that are tattoo artists, they put out.
Come get a tramp stamp with me. Gen Z creator Kaylee Wilson or Callie Wilson, I'm not sure how you say that, wrote on her video showing the process of her inking to millions of both delighted and horrified users. Some are still scarred by their own tattoos. We are absolutely not bringing this back, one panicked woman wrote. This is going to be a trend for a couple of weeks, then y'all going to hate it in later years. I'm officially old. All the work we did to undo this trend, and now it's back one way. Society's coming full circle. Look, every trend seems to come back about 20 years later. I don't know why, but it seems to happen. In the 80s, we had the resurgence of the 60s. Thankfully, the 90s only brought back a little bit of the 70s. We didn't end up with disco again, thank God. But it's like there's this thing where kids grew up seeing it, so now they want to dress like their parents did. I don't get it.
I don't know. The 80s never really made a comeback. They kind of did for a minute, but I don't know. The tramp stamps pretty big hill to die on there.
The 80s were a weird time. There was so much different fashions and trends that happened in the 80s, man. And if you look at stuff like at the start of the 80s, you still had the disco look, and then the Michael Jackson, Cyndi Lauper, Madonna kind of thing was there. And then it just kind of went bland for a while. I'm glad it didn't make a comeback because a lot of it was ugly as shit. The 80s had their comeback, and it's still there with like media, pop media.
Yeah.
It's the only place they've ever really had it. We didn't have people wearing fucking leg warmers up to their up to their knee, thank God, because that shit looks stupid.
Yeah, it was dumb then. Real quick, thank you, John. My uncle named his dogs Rolex and Timex. There's watchdogs.
Nice. Very
Thank
cute.
Thank you, Keldrick. Tramp stamps run in the family. I guess you could say it's in her genes.
All right. I don't mean to get back into the pronoun fight from Twitter, but I have to bring this one up. I don't know if you've seen my Twitter, Jack. It is still blowing up over that stupid ass post. Sorry, my cousin's Twitter. Had a little truth stuck in my throat. But because of Elon, pronouns are all over Twitter. And this idiot says, you don't hate pronouns. You hate the people that are using them. Okay. I don't hate people who use pronouns. Everybody uses pronouns. I hate people who misuse pronouns. And I don't even hate them. I just think they're stupid. I think they're dumb people, spoiled people, and really, really fucking annoying people.
Yeah.
If that makes you uncomfortable, good. It should. You either respect how people are acting, are asking you to know them and name them, or you don't. but stop pretending it's about language. Bitch, it's literally about language.
Yeah, and thank you for giving me permission to not respect them.
The only people who demand respect are people who don't get it earned. You know who demands respect? A drill sergeant. That's who demands respect. A CEO. I'm your boss. I control your future. That's who demands it.
And Hitler.
And Hitler. If you're demanding respect, typically it's because you can't get it any other way. Now, there's times when that makes sense. A drill sergeant, for example, they cannot have people who are disrespecting them because it's all about learning to follow orders to get the job done.
Yeah.
If it's just some asshole on the street who's like, my pronoun is it, you can go fuck yourself. I have no respect for you and I refuse to give you any. Because you're a retard. But yeah, there's that idiot. What else we got today? Count Dankula finally got his name back. When they had the thing where people were imitating Elon Musk, Twitter froze everybody's name. You couldn't change your name on Twitter. And to be funny, Count Dankula changed his name to Giant Penis right before it happened.
Yeah, that timing was beautiful.
He's been stuck with that name, and you might think that's a great name, but he's gotten so many people making stupid ass jokes to him that he's actually come to hate it. He's been begging to get this changed. So he finally got that. Yeah, this one's a disturbing story. Parents told to scrub Snapchat from kids' phones after a Florida coach busted for paying for nude pictures.
Yeah, I mean, am I surprised?
A Florida high school basketball coach and security guard. I'm slurring my words. I haven't even been drinking. Security guard has been arrested for allegedly paying young female students to send him explicit pictures on Snapchat. Alden Edwards, 28, would allegedly pay his victims between $10 and $75 to send him the images after targeting them on social media, the Martin County Sheriff's Office charged.
Well, those whores work cheap.
Man, the FBI is going to get a whole new list of pictures to look at.
Yeah.
Sheriff William Snyder said his agency got an anonymous tip about Edwards' scheme and that they talked to 7 teens who said they sent him nude photos. Snyder said parents need to be vigilant about the perils of online exploitation.
No. What?
Look, I know your kids want to be on social media and stuff. And there's ways that you can do it. But the one way you can't get around is monitoring it constantly. If you should go through your children's phones, you should go through their internet history. You should be going through their rooms. And anybody's like, "Oh, I respect their privacy." You're an idiot. Kids are dumb and do dumb things. And I hope it doesn't happen to you, but you're setting yourself up to be one of those people who's like, "I don't know where she went. Last thing we knew, her 40-year-old friend came over."
Yeah. They were just friends, she promised.
Yeah. That's how they end up, gone. Monitor your children. It's your fucking job.
Yeah, it's your job to protect them. And as long as they're under your roof, it's your rules.
Damn
thank
Skippy.
you, John. Oh.
Go ahead.
Thank you, John. The kinder, gentler drill sergeant school no longer allowed to cuss. And he sent me a link to a YouTube channel. That makes me sad, and I haven't even watched it.
My favorite movie of all time is An Officer and a Gentleman. Louis Gossett Jr.'s character would be thrown in jail these days. I mean, granted, he did beat the shit out of one guy and almost choke him to death, but drill sergeants have to be hard. They have to treat you like that. They're turning you into to killing machines. But don't swear because it might hurt somebody's feelings. Yeah, good luck with war, motherfucker. Anyway.
Yeah.
Taylor Lorenz. Taylor, dear Christ. Don't forget, guys, she has the long COVID. So she's very worried about the COVID, Jack, because she has the long COVID, which means that she's a disabled person.
Seriously?
I can't help but laugh, but this is really what she claims. She's disabled now because she has long COVID. No symptoms. She has that asymptomatic, not long COVID.
If it's asymptomatic, then first of all, how is she disabled?
Well, nobody's ever seen her with the long COVID, so I'm saying it's asymptomatic. She doesn't say it, but I will. She's making it up for attention because that's what she does.
Yeah.
But she's got that asymptomatic shit going on. And she's very worried about the COVID. And she said this today. Twitter hasn't done a good job of policing public health stuff, but Bhattacharya has not simply dissented from public health orthodoxy. He's the guy we were reading about yesterday who was allowed to go into Twitter to see how they had shut him down because he was pointing out that a lot of the stuff about COVID was bullshit.
Yeah.
By the way, he's been right about a lot of stuff.
Like anyway, a monster.
Bhattacharya was not simply dissenting from public health orthodoxy. Great Barrington Declaration is tied with the anti-vax movement, pushes dangerous anti-science herd immunity, which costs lives during a pandemic.
What?
Anti-science herd immunity. Herd immunity is literally science. Saying that it's anti-science is anti-science. But no, Jack. Herd immunity is not a real thing anymore. And remember, this became a thing during COVID because there were several people out there, myself included. I talked a lot about herd immunity. I talked a lot about, people just getting infected because you'll probably be okay and that'll take care of the fucking thing. And the fact that natural immunity is stronger than vaccinated immunity. It just is. But they started pushing it. They started pushing the idea, herd immunity. Let's see. To get herd immunity, we need 105% of people have to be vaccinated to get herd immunity.
Lord Fauci has commanded it, monkey.
It's a real thing. Is it perfect? No. But it does cut down. And we know this. This has been science for decades that tested science. Not just the nonsense. Actual tested science. Thank you, John. Just like Dank. No one ever saw him with a big penis. He is adamant that he has a small one, which I'm willing to believe him. He's got no reason to lie about how big his dick is. I'm willing to believe him if he wants to say he has a little dick. I feel like that's the wrong answer if you've been worried so far about, people making fun of your big dick. You just open the door to worse jokes, homie.
Oh, he's been saying that for years, though.
Yeah, but didn't have a reason. I mean, he got so annoyed at the big dick thing, they're just going to keep coming with the little dick jokes.
Yeah. I'm supposed to tell you to check your DMs. WAPO is getting pwned. Soon the science will say the earth will be flat. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. This is some very anti-science stuff.
Who said to check my DMs?
Spud Gun.
The story about soccer?
I don't know. Didn't say. Just said the WAPO is getting pwned.
Why doesn't Argentina have more black players in the World Cup? Because we're a country, not a Disney movie. Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know if I want to show this.
I don't know
Kinda
what it
have
is,
to.
so can't tell you.
It's a TikTok video. I'm going to turn off the music because fuck it. Remember, guys, there's no sexuality in drag shows that they show to kids. By the way, I don't know if you'll notice there's kids right down here. And this is a drag person in the middle of the street wearing a thong. And this is what they're doing in front of the kids. Teaching the kids, yeah.
Teaching kids twerking. Great.
But don't worry, guys. There's nothing sexual about drag shows and kids. In fact, they're so wholesome. You can do them right in the middle of the street, Jack.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's for visibility, and we don't want people to feel invalidated or some bullshit.
Now, this video might actually get us in trouble, but I have to show it. It's funny as shit. So, I don't know the setup here. I don't know what this guy on the left is mad about, but he's mad. He's upset, Jack.
Oh.
And this employee over here is he's mad at.
John! Wait! Hey, stop!
Let her go.
I have to pause it here because when she finally does let go, what she says could get us in real trouble. That dude fucked with the wrong chick.
Yeah. You fuck with a fast food worker, you're asking for vengeance.
You
grabbed her, so good for her.
You put your hands on her, you're going to jail with an ass whipping. Good job, dummy. Don't put your fucking hands on people. I was cheering her on, Jack. Oh, get him. Fuck that guy. He was absolutely in the wrong. He reached across the counter, grabbed her by the shirt, by the neck, Jack. I'm glad she whipped his ass. And I don't care if I get in trouble for that because that's what should have happened.
Well, yeah. It's what happens when you try and assault people.
This is Kyle. Thank you. Even if there's nothing sexual at a drag event, why do they have to dress and drag around children? That's a good question. I'm just going with their narrative, though. That's why they say it's not a bad thing. It's not sexual. Well, then why is your ass hanging out? Just asking. And former trust and safety head Yoel Roth wrote in his PhD dissertation that minors should. Oh, we already read that one. Is that it? Yeah, that's it for. Oh, no. Rebecca Jones. We need to talk about her for just a minute. She is the woman who worked for Florida, entering the COVID data and claimed that it was false.
Oh, yeah.
Remember her, the blonde that ended up on all kinds of liberal media because she was calling out Ron DeSantis? Well, she's agreed to plead guilty. Well, admit guilt. She doesn't actually have to plead guilty. She's just admitting guilt. She has to pay a $20,000 fine for all of the that she basically has to pay for the investigation.
Yeah.
And it's because she had stolen stuff. She
basically said she stole it.
Oh, yeah. She has to complete a bunch of community service. And if she gets in trouble anytime in the next, I think, 2 years, then they can come down on her hard with the full guilty plea. So as long as she commits to this deal that she's made, which she says, hey, I didn't plead guilty. Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you did. But as long as she holds up her end of the deal, she's not going to end up with a criminal record over it. So good for her. And you better pay that fine, bitch. The government does not like it if you don't give them the money that they think is theirs.
Which is all of it.
Yeah. It's all their money, don't you know? MH370 pilot was deliberately trying to crash the jet, new evidence suggests. Landing gear was down when it smashed into the ocean, which would have ensured that it sank faster. Wow.
I'm curious how they know that since the plane hasn't been found.
Discovery of a new piece of Boeing 777 has shed new light on possible cause.
No.
Experts say it showed the gear was down when it landed in the Indian Ocean, crashed in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
This they say would have caused the plane to break up on impact and sink faster. Damn. The landing gear on the missing flight was down, suggesting the pilot may have deliberately crashed into the sea. Theories have been circulating since the Malaysian airliner went down somewhere over the Indian Ocean with 239 people on board in March of 2014.
Can you believe
The most
it's been 8
persistent
years?
theory. What's that?
Can you believe it's been 8 years since that?
I wanted to say it was only a couple of years ago. Yeah, that does seem a while ago. Mess says that's better for the passengers. I mean, is it?
Well, they're still dead, but I mean, why die in terror if you could just kind of, die quickly?
Well, it just says it makes the plane break up faster. It doesn't say it actually killed them.
The sharks did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the black hole plane, Faithless. The one that Don Lemon told us went through a black hole.
If it's me, I want the plane going as fast as it can, pointed straight down if I'm looking for the easy way out.
Yeah. Black holes work landing gear now. Yes, exactly,
yes.
Retro.
I don't know what this piece is. Last month, the landing gear door was found. Oh, there you go. That's what it was found in possession of a Madagascaran fisherman. According to experts, it's the first piece of evidence. Well, he should be able to tell him where he found it, and that might make it easier to find the rest of the thing.
Real quick, thank you, John. Me, don't shoot. I'm mentally impaired. Guards, prove it. Me, Brittany Griner and Anthony Fauci are national heroes. Accurate.
Yeah, this is saying that pilots are told to keep the landing gear up if they're going into the water. They would not, however, have the landing gear extended. This would cause a violent impact with the surface of the water, increasing the risk of the plane breaking up. The experts have said, based on new evidence, that the flaps on the MH370 are not believed to have been retracted when it landed. So it was going as fast as it could be, huh? Well, I hope they didn't suffer. I really do.
Yeah, I hope they eventually find this plane because I'd like to know whose fault it was. Was it really the pilot or co-pilot, or was there some other shenanigans afoot?
Well, like I say, now that this should give them a place to look at least.
Yeah.
Because before it was like, it's somewhere in the Indian Ocean. Good luck. But now a fisherman finding that, the rest of the plane can't be that far away.
Well, they could track the movement of the tide back, I'd assume. I mean, don't they follow like the water currents and all that?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I'm sure there's some agency that's responsible for that.
But it'll be interesting to find out what actually happened. Maybe they'll find the black box.
I think all those people are on that lost island.
Might be. There was a plane door there, wasn't there? Or
I think so. Yeah, with that polar bear.
Yeah.
So the Dharma Initiative's got him.
That show pissed me off. I stopped watching it out of spite.
I thought the last season was pretty weak, but overall, it had a lot of fun stuff.
No, they took too long between season 1 and 2. And so it's like, no, fuck this shit.
Yeah, I didn't start watching it until like season 4.
It was like the original Netflix series because it's the first one that has this incredibly short season. What was it, like 10, 12 episodes or some shit like that?
Mm-hmm.
And then they go on hiatus for like 4 years. Like, what? No. And I'm exaggerating a little bit in all cases there, but seriously.
Well, it's one they didn't really plan the ending out of, so it was super disappointing for a lot of people. And they should have had the entire story arc planned out. Unfortunately, people don't really do that.
Well, even if they didn't have the entire story arc, once you realize you have this hit that you're going to have another season, get to fucking work.
You'd think so.
And I've heard the storyline of the rest of it. It couldn't have taken you that long to come up with it.
No.
All right. Liar ex-superintendent at notoriously woke Virginia school district is indicted over claims he and his PR covered up 2 sex attacks by a boy in a skirt at school he oversaw. Yes. They finally indicted this piece of shit?
Yeah.
Scott Ziegler, the former superintendent at Loudoun County Schools, was fired on December 6th and on Monday was indicted by a grand jury. Ziegler is facing misdemeanor counts of false publication, using his position to retaliate against an employee, and falsely firing the same employee. His spokesman, Wade Byard, is also facing charges, 1 count of felony perjury.
Yeah,
The father
they should
of
both
one-
be up for accessory to rape.
They absolutely should. Oh, yeah. Accessory after the fact.
Yeah.
The father of one of the teenage girls sexually assaulted in Loudoun County School accused the district of lying and said he was pleased at the indictment. Yeah, fuck this guy. He should have got it for child endangerment as well. Because, look, you can say, oh, well, he didn't know about the first one, but he did, when it happens, he didn't have any reason to believe it would happen. All right, fine. That second one, you left this asshole in with other kids, knowing he'd done this. You just moved him to a different school, so a different kid got raped.
Yeah.
Christ. Former superintendent of infamous Loudoun County School District, the epicenter of nationwide unrest in education establishments, has been indicted by a Virginia grand jury. Good. Fuck that guy. Yeah, I hope you go to real. It's only misdemeanor counts, though. That sucks.
Yeah, they should be getting him on accessory to sex offenses for sure. But no, like the cover up was worse than their crime at the school district, not what the kid did, obviously. But I couldn't believe that they would move a kid who was accused of rape to another school instead of reporting it to the cops. That should make them an accessory right there.
Ziegler told the paper he intended to fight the charges against him. I'm disappointed that an attorney general controlled secret and one-sided process, which never sought my testimony, has made such false and irresponsible accusations.
That's how grand juries work, idiot.
Motherfucker, we have your statements. We know what happened. What are you going to do? Lie about it? The indictment references the 2 sexual assaults and the firing of a special needs teacher who complained about being sexually assaulted by a student and was ultimately fired.
What?
How have we never heard that part?
I don't know. That's the thing. Apparently, this guy's involved in a lot of cover-ups.
The indictment is seen as a triumph for Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, who was elected in November 2021 after campaigning to curtail school boards and empower parents. He singled out Loudoun County School District as an example of a failing area and sought the resignations of everyone on the board. Why isn't the principal involved in this? He should be going to jail too.
That's a good question.
Because they all covered this shit up.
Oh, yeah. Everybody involved should be in jail.
Scott Smith, the father of one of the girls who was attacked and who hit headlines when he angrily protested during a board meeting. Stop. He was not angry until the rest of the shit came down. They closed down the school board meeting and some person tells him that his daughter's a lying whore.
Yeah. He had every right to be angry. And,
Yeah.
I still think it's bullshit that he went to jail at all.
He said he hopes the indictment will bring down the wall between LCPS and the moms and dads of Loudoun County. But Smith, who reacted with fury when Ziegler said during the meeting that he had no record of any sexual assaults at the school, said he wants to see further action. This is just the beginning. This isn't the end, said Smith. Absolutely. Our victory will be short-lived if we don't get the school board to make major changes, like step down. Yeah, absolutely. And see, this is what they do. They even this story, which is telling that the asshole involved is going to jail. He got angry at the meeting. Tell the full story. What fucking happened at that meeting?
Yeah.
So yeah,
But
that's
that'd be
fucked up.
transphobic, monkey.
That's fucked up. And good. I hope he ends up in prison for a long, long fucking time. Your job was to take care of those kids. And instead you tried to hide it and you moved this guy to another school like you're the Catholic fucking church. If we just hide it, nobody will see. How many kids got to get ass raped? Remember, the first girl, she got anally raped in the school bathroom and they lied about it. Said they were going to handle it internally.
They did. They moved him to another school so he could get new victims.
Didn't even get the police involved until the father insisted. And then had the balls when he goes up to the school board meeting, go, yeah, we don't have any record of that. Fucking shitbags. Link for that? Sure. Hang on one second. That's this story. Sorry, this producer's slow. He's getting fired too. I'm firing all of them. We're going to bring in the B crew, see if they can do any better. All right. Let's see. Sheriff threatens outgoing Governor Doug Ducey with arrest over the border wall in Arizona. I saw this headline, but didn't read the story. Arizona's outgoing Republican Governor Doug Ducey is pushing ahead with building a wall made out of shipping containers along the state's southern border with Mexico, even as local authorities threaten to arrest him. Yeah, this is what he's doing since they won't let him have an actual wall. You see,
that's littering.
This is what they consider a wall. You have a little bit of a barbed wire fence and some of those World War II things that were on the beach in Normandy, and that's it. And so the governor was like, fuck it, let's put shipping containers there.
It's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
Look, you can still get over those it's not that hard, but at least it's something.
Yeah. It'll at least slow them down so only the dedicated get over.
At least you got to make some fucking effort. This one here, you can just throw the little kids that you're sending over. By the way, there are still parts of the border that have literally no fence.
Oh, yeah. Lots of it.
The containers had reached within 6 miles of Santa Cruz County when its top lawman said over the weekend he would arrest anyone who tried to continue the construction across county lines. The areas where they're placing the containers is entirely on federal land, on national forest land, sheriff said. You're not a federal agent.
Yeah. So enforcing this would probably be illegal, dude.
It's not state land, it's private land, and the federal government says it's illegal activity. So just the way if I saw somebody doing an assault or a homicide or a vehicle theft on public land within my county, I would charge that person with a crime. Fuck you. You're a piece of shit.
Maybe we should send all the illegals to his house.
After spending about $6 million over the summer to erect a 3,800-foot makeshift wall with 130 containers over 11 days, the work was stopped by the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, which told the state it was illegally building on federal land. Then build the wall, you fucking pricks.
Sounds like a lot.
Ducey, who leaves office next month, sued the feds over the order in October before plowing ahead with a much more ambitious jerry-rigged wall in the remote San Rafael Valley, which is not used by migrants and wasn't considered as a part of Trump's wall. Fuck off. Arizona is going to do the job that Joe Biden refuses to, secure the border in any way we can, Ducey said in October. We are not backing down. There's some more of the makeshift wall. It's sad. It looks like Fallout, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
The The governor maintained that the state had stole or shared jurisdiction over the border, which he said he had the constitutional right to protect from imminent danger of criminal and humanitarian crisis. But last week, cranes had already brought some 900 metal containers down a dirt road, stacked them together along vehicle barriers of crisscross steel. Containers were bolted together and sheet metal was welded over the gaps. However, gaps of up to 3 feet were visible in some parts. Fuck them, man. This is the federal government's job, and they're not fucking doing it.
Yeah, this sheriff wants to play these stupid games in a border crossing state. I don't think that's going to go that well for him.
If it's me, Jack, all right, fuck it. We're not spending that money on these anymore. We're going to have buses literally at the border, and they're headed north.
Yeah, well, I would move them right into that sheriff's county and see what happens. Be like, all right, well, you said we couldn't have this. You're going to enforce this nonsense.
Yep.
Here you go. This is your problem. Any of these people leave this county, and you're legally sending people into other counties, and
you're liable.
That's obviously on you.
So fuck them. Seriously, fuck them. I'm tired of this illegal shit. This is not something that should be tolerated. It's in the fucking word, illegal. That's why they want to get, nobody's illegal. Yes, they are.
Yeah. Good luck telling that to anybody whose country you break into, because almost every other country enforces their border.
Yep.
Real quick. Thank you,
Mexico.
John.
Sorry.
Getting ready for the day. Me puts on clown wig and red nose. Honk honk, motherfuckers. Yeah, well, it's kind of a day ending in Y these days.
Mexico enforces their border. The only reason they have so many migrants that come through, illegal immigrants, is because they know they're not stopping in Mexico. They're coming up here. And they allow it. If you're actually breaking into their country, there was a Marine who ended up arrested because he accidentally crossed the border.
Yeah, because you couldn't turn around once you started going. So he had to keep going into Mexico, basically. I remember that story. And Obama didn't even try to get him out.
Nope. The Mexican police are now escorting illegals here. Yep. That was a story I saw earlier today.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it shouldn't be surprising. The Mexican government put out pamphlets on how to come to the United States and get your free shit.
Yeah, the Mexican government is getting kickbacks from all these coyotes and the cartels. There's no way around it. They're making massive amounts of money off of this. And until we do something about it, they're going to keep doing it.
Now, I brought that story up once on Lords of the Night, and Scribble's like, wait, do you have actual sources? And even he's like, oh, shit, they actually did this. It's a real thing that they did. Telling their people how to come up here, sending their poor people up here.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so
we should be sending them right back down.
Yep. And instead, we put them in little buildings that we held for them, and then we're like, okay, come back when we want you to.
Yeah, here's a phone and some money on a card, and lots of hugs and kisses, and don't forget to fill out for your free stuff from the federal government on our taxpayers' expense, because we're not printing enough money, apparently, that we can pay for millions of freeloaders parasitically coming in and stealing jobs from our poor, driving wages down in the middle of a recession.
Saw a story tonight. Lady Monkey was watching the news when I went up and made dinner. And it was a story about this guy, I think he's in Pennsylvania, who has started this charity to give jackets to poor kids. Very nice thing to do. And they have a waiting list, Jack, of 800,000 people. 800,000 kids waiting for jackets. While our government is spending money on these fucking freeloaders coming across the border. You could take a fraction, a tiny fraction of what we spend on illegal aliens and give it to this guy to get 800,000 coats for kids. We're not taking care of our own. We're taking care of everybody else, and we shouldn't be doing that. That's fucking retarded.
Well, our own government hates the citizens. It's very obvious the way they treat us. So how dare you speak out against the poor refugees of economic distress in other countries, you monster. Now give us some money that we could give to them.
That's some really fucking stupid shit going on.
Yeah, and I'm so sick of it because this parade will never end. There will never be a stop to this illegal influx. They will constantly come in here and they are guaranteed voters because they'll be hooked on the government dole forever.
Yep.
For generations. They learned it in the 70s with the Great Society by getting so many poor people hooked on welfare that now we have like 4 or 5 generation welfare queens. And they know that they will constantly vote their way because they're hooked on that money and they don't want to change.
I'm just going to say this. I'm not a fan of the whole welfare queen thing, but at least that was going to a fucking American.
Yeah.
All this
now
money we're spending on these shitbags pouring across our border. We can see them coming before they ever get here.
Yeah.
And they just come in. And Biden has changed it because Trump had the policy where they had to stay in Mexico. And Biden is like, no, we need to let them into the U.S. And so that's what's happening. And it's your tax dollars going to pay for these fuckers. While Americans, look, you can think they're lazy. You can think and believe me, Jack, we've talked about that before. I agree. But if we're going to be wasting money, at least waste it on our people, you fucking assholes.
Yeah. We should be cutting all our foreign aid, and anybody caught here illegally should be sent back and never be allowed to apply for citizenship, including all these goddamn dreamers that are going to college on our dime and contributing nothing in the process.
Stop telling me how they pay taxes. Stop telling me how they've been here for years. I don't care. They shouldn't be here. And the path to citizenship, fuck you. Your path to citizenship was to do it right the first time.
Yeah, we have a path to citizenship. You don't get a cut in line. Go the fuck home. I don't care how long you've been here. Get out. You're illegal. You're not supposed to be here. Also, thank you, John, who says, I may not look good, but I fuck like the government. That's violent.
Yeah. Are you trying to get arrested? Because it kind of sounds like rape, if I'm being honest. All right, Jack, we're going to wrap this one up here. Guys, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. I don't know if we'll have more Twitter files. I really don't. I don't know what's coming up next. I want to see the COVID stuff. I really do, Jack.
Oh, I know.
And I want to see how many people were punished wrongfully by their own rules just for having the wrong opinion. And I would like to repeat, telling people the science is settled is anti-science. It just is. And if you don't understand why, then you don't understand science. But yeah, I really, really want to see that. But we'll get back to more, I guess, normalish kind of shows going forward until we get more drops. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so, so kind to us. I wish I had something more impactful to say than thank you. But seriously, thank you so very much. Jack, anything you want to share?
I'll drop some links to some cool videos, but thank you so much for the donations. And thanks for the constant support you guys give us by watching us every night, listening to us ramble and bitch. It's very cool.
Don't forget to hit that like button on your way out, guys, if you haven't done so already. Same with over there on Rumble. I see you guys. You guys are awesome. Hit that Rumble button. Share with your friends, your family that bitch you hate. Get them here watching. Explain how awesome we are. And let's make this a big, beautiful community. As big as my man titties.
Or bigger.
Or bigger. Everybody, thanks for what God. I had to go there. What the fuck is wrong with me?
I don't know.
It was in my head. I'm like, should I say that? And I was like, no, don't say that. I'm like, I should say it. Like, no, don't say it. I actually had an argument before it came out. And I feel like the wrong side won. This is why I'm firing all my producers.
I don't think you can fire your headmates.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming to hang out. Yes, I will be over on twitch.tv/rantingmonkey. What day is this?
I don't know.
It's Tuesday,
Monday?
right? Technically?
Technically Tuesday, yeah.
Is Bubba here? Bubba, is this a day we play or not? I never know. I'm so bad with this shit. Bubba, are you out there? Bubba, 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 Bubba,
I don't think he's out there.
Bubba, are you here? Bubba. What am I playing on Twitch? I don't know. I'm either playing 7 Days to Die or I'm playing some Phasmophobia. But I don't know if he's here. Wednesday and Thursday. But see, last time, all right. Play Pokemon. I do not play Nintendo games on stream. Fuck no. I know some people do it, but I also know that at any time, Nintendo can get a bug up their ass and suddenly you're gone. They're assholes. I really do fucking hate them. I don't play Nintendo games online. I would love to play Pokemon. I would just sit back and play RimWorld. I don't want to start a new series kind of game in the middle of a series game. That's a pain in the ass. It becomes very confusing very quickly. But maybe we'll do RimWorld after I finish with this season of 7 days. Because RimWorld's a fun game. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. COD. I'd have to play COD in single player, which is fine, but it's I wish I had better internet so I could play online. You guys could hear me swear like a sailor. But yeah, it's not one I really can do very much. I think it's Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That's what I think, but I'm not sure how that works out because never mind. Guys, thanks for watching. Jack, a pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here.
Guys, have a wonderful night. We'll see y'all next time. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
I have man boobs, and I'm not ashamed of them. They're big and pretty. I should get a dress with a hem. I don't know.